It's an epic day. I've got two mad dogs with electrical failures. We've got three scenarios. This red one won't charge the battery. This white one over here, spark plug won't fire. And this black one works fine. The electrical system is about as confusing as it can be. I don't understand it at all. Nobody understands it. It's pure magic. There are a few guys that understand it. The problem is those guys that understand electricity don't have friends. So they don't tell anyone all the answers, all the secrets, so nobody else knows. And the rest of the world will never find out. So I'm going to show you how to troubleshoot the no charging, and I'm going to show you how to troubleshoot the no spark. Two complete different things, but pretty related. I couldn't be happier to have two things break at once like this. That's pretty damn cool. Swapping CDIs didn't help. Swapping coils didn't help. So you turn the key on, the engine cranks. We have no issues with that battery, with the 12-volt system or fuses or anything like that, but it's not firing, so it's an issue with the AC side. You need AC to come from the stator to go into the CDI box. From the CDI box, it has to go to the coil, and from the coil to the spark plug. So it's an AC issue. AC originates in the stator. These wires go to the stator. The yellow and white one and the ground, the green one, should run into the regulator rectifier to switch it over to 12 volt DC and charge your battery. There's that yellow one, white one, and green one, so they're all going in there. There's your red coming out to charge your battery. That leaves these other two wires. Where do they go? This trigger feed comes off something called the pulse coil or impulse coil. This red with the black on it, that comes off one of the poles in the stator. That's called the excitation coil or the exciter coil. That's different than the yellow and the white one. This green is a common ground. The yellow and white wire both go into the regulator rectifier over here, and so does the green ground wire. There's also a ground that goes into the CDI box, and that should come off of that one. And there's the green for the CDI box. The red with black is the same red with black coming out of your exciter coil. That powers the CDI. That gives it its electricity. Then, when the blue wire is tripped by the reluctor on the flywheel, it triggers the CDI via that red and white, turn from blue to red and white over here, and it tells the CDI to release the electricity into the coil via this black and yellow wire. So that leaves one wire we don't know about, and that's this black with white on it. That goes to your kill switch. When you turn the battery on, you're activating the DC system only. The bike needs to be turning. You need to hit the starter with DC power. Crank the bike over or kickstart it to get the AC system going. But you can kill the AC system with your kill switch. You want to double check your kill switch, because even though it may start with the DC system, the kill switch could be grounding out the CDI so it doesn't get power. But that's not really our issue, because we're going before the CDI. We're going straight to the coil. And if you remove that kill switch, it's out of the loop. It's no longer connected. Let's say the kill switch is on or stuck on or faulty. We've disconnected it from the system right now, and we're looking for AC volts. The red wire, when it's cranking, should have between 20 and 100 volts. The blue wire should just have a signal. That's about it. It could be like 0.05 volts, something like that. That's just a trigger wire. Take your multimeter and ground your negative to the chassis. Put our positive on this red wire. That comes directly out of the stator. Looking for 20 to 100 volts AC. Got nothing on that. If you watch the rolling wrench video, he says don't disconnect this when you're doing the test. I personally haven't found it makes any difference. So here we'll use this bike as an example of something that works. I'm talking 32 volts right away. That's what it should look like if your Mad Dog's working. So I suspect we burned the stator out on that white one somehow. We're gonna try the trigger wire. We need 0.05 or more volts. So if you have your multimeter in this setting here, just whole numbers. You're not gonna see it on there. It's going to show 0 volts. We need to scale it down. That's what the little button does. There's a 0.00. Now watch, we'll see something. So yeah, 0.13 volt. Trigger wire is definitely working. So I've disconnected all this. This is the entire stator and the pickup coil. We're going to test it with the ohms. I'm going to get the ohms set the most sensitive position. What I'm looking for is resistance to see that they're not shorted out or grounded. Let's check the ohm reading of the trigger coil. Put one lead on the trigger, put one lead on ground, and we're getting 151. The specs on that are anywhere from 140 to 200. So that's good. So let's try the exciter coil. The specs are 350 to 400. And what are we getting here? Absolutely nothing. This indicates the exciter coil has been shorted to ground because it's giving us 0. Let's confirm that suspicion. We've got the good working Maddog here. Ground one side. Now here's that same red wire. It's going to the exciter coil. I get 431. Pretty close to limits. I think I told you, what, 350 to 400? 431. I'd call that a pass. This one probably will charge the battery. These are probably fine. I have no reason to even worry about the coils that charge the battery. Don't really care. I can't get the thing started. Once I get it started, I can check to see if it's charging real easy. I'm gonna have to pull that flywheel off and look at that stator and see what's going on and see why this exciter coil is not giving me power. This is just a troubleshooting video to see what's wrong with your stator. I'm going to make another video on how to change that stator or fix it. So let's move on now to charging system and see why the red bike's not charging. Pretty low battery, 12.37. We want to check and see if it's charging. We're going to run the bike. If the volts are higher than 12.37, it's trying to charge. These aren't like car alternators. They're not going to jump up to like 14 volts or something crazy unless that battery's fully charged. If this little stator's charging this thing, it'll be higher voltage. And the volts went low, so we can safely say this bike is not charging. Now here's a bike that's got some big ass lights on it. Lights in the back, underglow light, stereo, it's got nitrous, it's got electric fuel pump, the GPS speedometer, that's a stock stator. No issues at all with this one. Let's see if it's charging. So here we've got 12.77 volts. So I'm at 12.91 volts, 9.3, and it's still climbing. 9.5, 9.7, so it's obviously charging. So that's how you tell the bike's charging. It's just making more volts when it's running. That's the easiest way, I should say. Because your GY6s are AC fired, they will work with a dead battery. It's hard to recognize when you have a low battery. A low battery will damage a lot of things. Most likely, that low battery fried the stator, and it may have very well fried the regulator. On a typical stator, we really have two wires. One's a ground. We have to do a resistance check in ohms, again, off the stator. We did like a resistance check on this trigger wire. We grounded it. We got 152. That's within limits. When it comes to the stator, there should be resistance. It doesn't tell how much resistance, it just says some. If I test these two, I do get resistance. So this thing might be charging the battery fine. It just won't start. We just determined the one that sends power, the CDI for the spark plug, is bad. So this is probably good. So that's probably the proper reading. I'm getting some resistance on there. It says 0.3. And that's what Google says. You just need to have resistance. If you have no resistance, it looks like this, 0.L. That means it's open. There's no connection between the two. So I would call that one good. Two things that could keep it from charging. One, the stator's bad. That's what we're suspecting. We burn the stator out. But the stator might be working, but the regulator rectifier is bad. We burn that out instead. But what we could do is start the bike up and see if we get AC power coming out of these two wires, the yellow and the white wire. We use that as the ground and go to both these leads, white and yellow, try them both, and we should be getting AC current out of there if the stator's working. Then we would know it's the regulator rectifier. So I've got the black hooked up to the ground wire, the red hooked up to the yellow wire, got it on volts AC, crank it up and see what we get. Yeah, according to this, I'm getting 24 volts AC. Let me try the white wire. Yeah, 25. So maybe that stator's working. Another trick you can do is tap into just about any yellow wire. And look at there, we tap into a yellow wire and we get 10 volts AC. That's about where we're supposed to get at this low of RPM. If the RPM were higher, it would be 12 volts. But we're getting about 10 volts. That's about perfect. So that means this regulator turning this into 10 or 12 volts. Look at there, 10 volts going in, white wire. 14 volts going in. All right, here's where it gets super crazy. This is your GY6 regulator. Could be a 50, could be a 150, doesn't matter. One input comes from the stator. Another input comes from the stator. One input comes from chassis ground, and one comes from the battery. So one charges a battery, one grounds the system, two come from the stator. It rectifies the AC volts into DC volts. It regulates the DC volts into about 13 or something volts DC to charge the battery. It also regulates the AC back down to 12 volts AC. So it should be called a rectifier regulator. Where it gets confusing is AC is a bit wacky. It's got 4 wires. There's the AC input white wire, AC input yellow wire, there's the one to battery, and that ground one that says to battery, that's actually to ground, but I guess the battery ground it could be. At the stator, 24 volts AC. That seems too high. When the cannon plug was disconnected. So we're just testing the stator only. So directly the wire from the stator, not past the connector or anywhere else, you must get 20 volts or more AC. We got that from the white wire. Let me try the white wire. Yeah, 25. And we got 15 volts or more at the yellow wire. So that's directly from the stator. We passed that test. When we plug it in and bring the voltage regulator into the system, we only got 10 volts. We're getting about 10 volts out of that wire. And that's about right for idle. So the yellow wire has 13 volts, sometimes as low as 9. So we had 10, we're good. And that's what we were testing, was the yellow wire. The white wire will be around 17 volts. Remember, that one was higher when we tested it on the regulator. So how does the regulator regulate this voltage that's coming in at 32 to 33 volts? There's no output on the regulator for AC. There's only input. And yet it regulates it down to 12 volts AC. Look at a AC wiring diagram for the voltage regulator rectifier. Here's the one to the battery. Here's one coming in from the stator, the white wire. Here's our ground wire. And here's one coming in from the stator, the yellow wire. Where is the output for the 12 volt AC if we're inputting 34 volts AC? That's the funny thing about AC. It's the same wire. Once you plug that 34 volt AC wire into this regulator, this takes anything in excess of 12 volts or whatever it's trying to achieve, and it shunts it to ground. Here's what an electrical expert said. It's a Zener diode voltage regulator. It cuts off the tops of the positive AC phase and almost all the negative. Basically, it shorts the excess voltage to ground. So when you plug this in, all that 34 volts that we saw coming from the stator all the way back to the stator is turned to 12 volts AC. So it does regulate AC, and it regulates DC, and it converts AC to DC. Let's go to volts DC. Check that red wire right there, 12.98. I've got 13 volts coming out of there. I turn the bike off, and that same red wire going from the battery to the regulator, 12.86. So this bike is charging. I don't know what, but we disconnected this and pushed it back together. Maybe that's all it took. Maybe there was corrosion in there. I disconnected everything and put it back. Somehow this bike fixed itself. We saw it wasn't charging before, and now it is. This bike has sit out in the rain a lot and the weather. It was not a garage stored bike when I got it, so it had a lot of corrosion on it. So maybe there was corrosion on these connectors, and we just disconnected them and put them together, made them work. Had we had voltage coming out of here and nothing coming out of here, then we could assume that this needs to be changed. Had we had no AC voltage coming out of here, we could assume the stator needs to be changed. But this thing seems to have fixed itself and is working, but it's not a total loss. We're still going to be able to change the stator. That's what I was wanting to do. We're going to change the stator on that one over there. So there is a silver lining around this cloud. We do have a stator that needs to be changed. We're changing the stator on the white one because this red wire with a black stripe is not giving us any power. That goes to this exciter pole, the one covered in black tape. You can see the red wire with the black stripe going into it right there. Now this trigger wire is normally blue. This one on here is white with the blue stripe, I think. That goes into your impulse trigger. Can't really see it here. It's in the middle. Look at a different view. So if the impulse trigger was bad, that's also part of the stator. So we have to change the stator for that also. If the exciter coil is bad, we have to change the stator. The yellow and white wires go to these poles here and charge your battery. So if those are bad, we have to change the stator. If we fail a test on either of these wires, it's a stator change for us. So I'm going to make another video on how to change that stator, show what tools you need, what's required. The stators are cheap. You can see this one's $13.99 on Amazon. Not too bad for price. You need a couple of tools, and we'll cover that in the next video.